Greetings, beloved hearts of love's eternal presence. Papa Asun is with you. Today I would like to talk to you about love, your heart and your soul. A little worthy review, I feel. Yet first, just a little idea to offer you when confronted with difficulties and how you respond to those. It might be helpful to remind yourself, I am better than this, and I am bigger than this. And all that you seem to confront and the challenges that may occur in your day, remind yourself, I am bigger than this, I am better than this. I have encouraged you for years to say to yourself almost daily, I say yes to life. And what I conceive, I can achieve. What I feel, I make real. What I feel, I make real. What I feel, I make real. Do you allow yourself to often remember this great truth? Might it make you more responsible? Will it make you more accountable to be in control of your feeling side of life? Will it give you the opportunity to prove to yourself that there is no one holding a hammer over your head, not even me, saying, get angry, get depressed, or even get happy? Your feeling body belongs to you. Your mental body belongs to you. Your physical garment belongs to you. You are in charge. As you continue to awaken and begin to understand the true nature of your being, and when you understand where the source of your energy is, and the source of your light is, where the source of your love is, when you begin to understand the intrinsic and inherent nature of your glorious beings, and put it all to work together, you are ready for a wonderful life. And I feel we are all ready for a wonderful life, yes? Beloved hearts, the human race has done something that was never intended to be. The human race has inadvertently closed the door to its own soul. That closure to the human soul happened so long ago that there is nothing but disagreement or controversy when anyone tries to speak of the soul and what the soul is. To understand the soul is equally to understand what aspect of their own beingness humans are most responsible for denying and removing for centuries from the entire human consciousness, that being the goddess side of life, the feminine, the mother principle, and therefore ultimately that which is the greatest force of all that, being divine love. Of course, now that is beginning to change, yet not for all humanity. May I, Papa Asun, remind each of you that the soul is ultimately your higher feeling body. Just as you have a higher mental body beyond your mind, and that higher mental body can also be called your dazzling Christ mind, so do you have a feeling body and a higher feeling body. The feeling body, when the human race arrived on the earth, the feeling body was completely programmed for each of you, and it was charged with the 144 qualities of divine love. The divine love of the Mother's presence, in fulfilling the nature of divine love, programmed your feeling side of life with the 144 qualities of divine love, such as courage, bravery, compassion, on, magnificent qualities of love. If you have not seen the complete list of the 144 qualities. You can find them in the student dashboard of the Radiant Rose Academy website in the area of spiritual qualities or spiritual resources. You can just use the search engine, type in 144 qualities of divine love, and you will find it. These qualities were anchored and placed in the feeling body of every human being, all of which gives the individual the ability to generate a force of love in any particular divine quality according to all the thoughts they conceive that are necessary to produce experience and manifestation. Now, the higher feeling body is what's beyond your heart. Your heart ultimately governs your feeling body, and your mighty I Am God presence, your higher soul, governs your higher feeling body, which is your soul. Through interventions from Mother Akasha's dispensation, the pathway to the soul has been opened, and we are just at the beginning to be able to channel that soul love into our lives. Yet said very clearly, because you know, I really feel that if you consider yourself awakened, then you should not find yourself using expressions such as dark souls. It is one more slap on the face of the Divine Mother. There is nothing dark about the soul. An individual can become dark. However, the soul is the individualized vessel of the Divine Mother's presence. It is the individualization of divine love that you can draw upon, as your higher mental body is the individualization of the dazzling mind, the fathomless mind of Father God, that you can draw upon amazing ideas, conceive those ideas into physical manifestation. The soul is that area where Renaissance excellence and genius exists. The only time a human being has ever expressed some of the soul, as long as human beings have been on the earth, is in former Renaissance periods that occurred due to divine intervention, where a guardian angel of a life stream, because of the dedication that one gave to life, because of the service that one provided, that individual is allowed to come back into embodiment with the assistance of the guardian angels, and the angels open certain doors to the person's soul, where the genius, the creativity, the greatest love of all, divine love, can flow in from the soul into the chambers of the heart, and especially into the chamber that is the chamber of creativity, where the individual begins to express genius and creativity, the likes of which have come forth in former great Renaissance periods. The purpose of this was to bring forth wonderful new human potential movements amongst the mass of the people. The great Renaissance masters of art, of music, architecture, science, engineering, as an example, are those individuals who had been constructive enough over a certain periods of embodiments in order to win the support of the ascended masters, who approved of a temporary opening from their heart to their soul, so that the genius of the soul could flow into their expression, into their creative endeavors, raising them to a level of mastery, raising them to a level of excellence and influence, such as in Earth's history of former great Renaissance periods. It is said, beloved hearts, that at the apex of human consciousness there is a door that leads to everything, everything being divine love, the soul. Because divine love is all the ingredients of the universe that are necessary for perfect thoughts to become perfect things. Yet, because of the discord of human beings, because human beings have set aside their natural knowingness, because human beings have been hypnotized into believing the duality of good and evil, the door to their soul up to now has remained closed except for the kind of divine intervention I have just described. Now, whether there are those who accept her, our beloved Mother Akasha, or not, is not going to change the truth that Mother Akasha's presence in this world and her dispensation of the Mother's presence of divine love is that divine intervention that is overlighting all people's awakening upon the earth, and that overlighting has come to a new place in which by Mother's presence and the presence of the Ascended Master Mothers, the door to the soul is opening, and soul love is beginning to pour into awakened people's lives, especially those who are studying upon a spiritual path. Now, precious hearts, please be clear regarding your spirituality. Remind yourself often you are beautiful spiritual beings of consciousness, and you are the polar nature of your spirituality, which is light, which represents mind and thought, and love, which represents heart and feelings. Humans have downgraded their wonderful spiritual polar nature to a degrading nature of duality of good and evil. Papa Asun hopes that each of you realize that in your great awakening, in your path of becoming home, you are invited to leave behind the entire belief system that comes from duality, the belief in good and evil, and become open instruments and conduits for the truth of divine polarity, light and love, to once again flow into your lives, your activities, and your worlds. Now, as I have reviewed before, thoughts become dynamic patterns of energy, thought forms, or simply put, holograms. That's what the mind does. That's what the mind creates. Now, the whole mind that each of you are being restored to in your awakening process conceives. That is the natural element of mind, to conceive. The broken mind, where the altered ego is yet in charge, does not conceive. Rather, it perceives. Perception, after the fall from grace, replaced conception. And now you are well on your way to once again being able to conceive perfect ideas and thoughts. The nature of your beautiful beings was to naturally think or to draw upon a fountain of infinite wisdom. Your own beloved I Am God presence for magnificent ideas that you can hold and conceive in your minds, that you can think and move into magnificent choice and decisions. Your choices and decisions create thought forms. Those thought forms are divine patterns of energy or holograms. Now, you are not living in a hologram universe. And yes, there are hologram universes. This is not one of them. You are living in a life universe that contains both polar aspect of life itself, those being light and love. The mind conceives. This is all the area of light. The heart provides the love. Love is the earth. Love is the fertile substance that thought forms require for wonderful manifestations. The fertile substance of divine love, all its principles and activities, give life and nutrition to thought forms out of which come forth experience and manifestation. And so, as each of you increase and improve your relationship with your divinity, as Mother Akasha suggests, by loving, adoring, and talking, and communing, and resting your attention upon your beloved presence above you and within your own heart, and as you teach yourself to listen, as you do this, your own presence will guide you and direct you and speak to you through your feelings, which is what we call the world of promptings. If you follow this by trying to live in accordance to the one great law of life, that being love, peace, and harmony, you will automatically be increasing and strengthening yourself with light. Wonderful. However, light is only half of it. The other half of you is love. Love, sweet love. True love, precious hearts, divine love is revealing. It is nurturing. It is always fulfilling. Human love, oh my goodness, human love can be enjoyable one day and hurtful the next. It can speak of joy and it can speak of loss. There are many different experiences and expressions of human love. Divine love can never hurt. You cannot get divine love down your life stream from the seamless garment of your higher self until your mind is a whole, beautiful, dazzling mind. And that's what you're awakening to and moving yourself towards. You cannot get a beautiful, whole, dazzling mind until you open all the chambers of your heart. And you cannot open all the chambers of your heart unless you have made a decision in your mind to take your journey of life by the opening of your heart, living from your heart. All 9 chambers, because there is a promise that each of these chambers within your physical heart carry a primal cause, a power to life, ready for you to use once those chambers are opened. Now, alleluia. Due to your efforts in awakening, and by the presence of Mother Akasha's dispensation in this world, and by divine intervention, All the chambers of your heart are open. Alleluia. There is life indeed. It is for this reason, because of the closed hearts of humanity in the past, that term, sleeping splendor, was used to refer to the magnificence that abides within the human heart. Because human beings have ignored, human beings have not acknowledged, human beings have not accepted, and if you use your free will to disbelieve, if you use your free will to not acknowledge, if you use your free will for millions of years to believe that angels don't exist, your free will, your momentum of millions of years of not believing, means that angels had to obey your free will and be invisible to your race. And then when we speak of these things, sometimes a human comes along being a real smartass and says, well, show me. Forget it. Don't work that way. It was your race in former embodiments. You stopped believing in your own God nature, stopped believing in angels, and the angels had to honor your free will because the Creator gave you free will. And if you choose your free will not to believe or accept your own divine nature, accept such celestial forces, those forces had to stand back until they're not even in your life anymore. And when people don't have angels in their life anymore, they do not have an intervention that could save them from some of the horrors that are taking place in this world. So the way I see it, I'm Papa Asun. It's quite a conundrum your human race is in, because every condition the humans find themselves in, humans created those conditions. And then when we come along with good news, the human says, show me. Well, forget it. Well, it's all right. It's all right. Because there's actually something else in play here. And it's very important. It's very important to all of you. And that's sovereignty. You're living for your freedoms now. Freedom from all discord, freedom from repression, freedom from suffering. You've had a lot of journeys of lifetimes of pain down here. And even more tragically, you've had so many embodiments where you were promised so much. Religions promised you, governments promised you, people promised you, and they failed to fulfill those promises. You've been lied to, you've been misled. Deep breath. So I understand. But also, it doesn't work with Papa Asun if you say, well, show me, prove it to me. Do you know, precious hearts, and I've said this before, but I want to say it again, so I will. Do you know that it's easier to wake up an atheist than it is to wake up a hardcore religious believer who is spiritually blind to their own divine nature? That's something, isn't it? So, I congratulate you, and I support every one of you that are doing your best to awaken. And as you continue to awaken, you will hear more wonderful revelations. And it's up to you to acknowledge, to accept, and begin to invoke the powers of those revelations. And there's a lot of powers in your heart, beloved hearts. A lot of powers we have not even begun to use yet. What does the heart have to do to get human beings' rightful attention? Have a heart attack? You've chosen these lifetimes, precious hearts, that you're living. You chose your personalities. You made decisions before coming into this life. You also chose sovereignty, knowing that you've been fooled. You've been lied to so many times. You chose certain personalities, certain characteristics that would hold you true to your own sovereignty no matter the cost. You weren't about to give your life to something only to find out it wasn't truth again. And I will never lie to you. I will always tell you the truth. Yet, there's nothing wrong with a healthy dose of skepticism, especially if something has not been part of your human consciousness. Well, you're opening to your divine consciousness now. Yet sometimes you might have a healthy dose of skepticism. As long as your skepticism is not being fed by a broken mind. Rather, your skepticism is being fed by a thirsty heart that wants to know the truth and doesn't want to be lied to again. And when you hear these wonderful things, you may not yet be able to say, well, I don't know if that's truth for sure. But I do know what I resonate with. I do know that it feels right. And sensitivity and resonance ought to be very important to you now. Until you can count on your mind being dazzling and full of wisdom, resonance is very important to you. There are principles functioning this universe that can never be broken, and truth be told, there is no good, there is no evil, except thinking makes it so. Yet, there's lots of good and evil expressing on the earth. So I suppose, if that statement, there is no good, there is no evil, except thinking makes it so, this must mean that humans for millions of years have been thinking in terms of good and evil, and that's exactly what they have created down here on the earth. And as creator beings, you can think something, you can bring your feelings into your thoughts, and voila! You then have it as your personal experience. You are creator beings, and as you awaken more, you will discover that your own hearts are just amazing, and just wait until you are on the most joyous ride of the soul. So let's continue this little conversation about your hearts and about your souls, because this is where you're going to find your passion. This is where you're going to find your purpose. This is where you're going to find all the power to live the divine plan of your life. This is where you're going to discover your part in this world that is going to change so dramatically in the next few years. Are you ready for that? Are you ready to play your part? What you are beginning to see take place on the planet now is the collapse of an anti-civilization, where the mass of the people have suffered, while a few have controlled this world on the backs of the masses suffering. Well, we are at the end of that nonsense. This golden age is coming in, precious hearts, and you are all to be a living part of it. Now, regardless of what spiritual path that you are using in your awakening, you've all advanced. Many of you came in as violet souls, indigo souls, and today, because the Mother's presence is growing, all awakened people in the world on spiritual paths have been raised to radiant rose souls on the earth, who have opened now by divine intervention, or rather I should say have had opened for them the door between their heart and their soul. Now this has required a lot of preparations over centuries. Through the presence of Jesus the Christ, your mind, your light, the Father presence, all of this had to be strengthened within you first, and often over many lifetimes. The human denial of the Mother's presence and the greatest love of all that has been going on for so many millions of years, that if you were not strengthened by the Father's light first, you would be drawn down onto your knees in tears if you even had a sampling of the Mother's love in your life again. Yet, each of you have passed through this way now. By your efforts, your willingness to see yourself as spiritual beings, be on a spiritual path, make yourself available to every divine intervention that is coming in from on high. And now, lots of you know. Those of you who've been with the Academy for years, you already know of the 9 chambers of your heart. And now they're all open. This is the passageway, the secret passageway to your soul. And this is when the soul begins to flow the river of life and creativity abundant from your soul into your physical heart and ultimately into your complete outer earthly life. This is the greatest love of all. This is the love that reveals, nurtures, and fulfills. And everything changes almost instantly, overnight, once you have a consistent flow of the greatest love of all, soul love, divine love, flowing into your heart and into your life. Beloved, regarding your future self, in order for your thoughts to manifest instantly, and they will, you must have a fertile substance in such abundance for those thought forms, those holograms, to plant themselves in. Imagine that one of the easiest things you will come to do, and that is to cause the love generator in the 5th chamber of your heart to begin to release hundreds and thousands of rhythmic waves of divine love that come from your soul into your heart. Imagine being able to release hundreds and thousands of rhythmic waves of divine love throughout your body, your mind, your feelings, your relationships, and all your outer activities, your health. Remember, for thoughts to quickly become things, especially good, fine things, there must be a fertile substance out of which they manifest. That fertile substance is love, sweet love. But not the love that your life force passes down through the pineal gland, because that life force still passes through your mind, a mind that is yet being fully awakened, that is yet being healed. a mind where it is still possible for you to have silly human moments, where you can still go back into the old mindset if you choose. Dumb choice, by the way. Just having fun, beloved hearts. But imagine coming to a place now where you can tap into the fifth chamber, the center of your heart, and begin to, by acknowledging, accepting, and invoking, begin to release thousands of rhythmic waves of divine love from your soul into your heart and out into your physical body, into your mind, your feeling side of life, where you can begin to command that even into your relationships, your finances, your field of dreams, your vision for your life. Oh, you might ask, what is my vision for my life? Oh, didn't you know? Well, I'll give you Papa Asun's interpretation of your vision for your life. It is to be raised to a place of divine consciousness, where you come to express activities of truth, where you come to express and demonstrate the presence and the power and the love of the Christ. That is the vision for each of you that you must strive for, if you ask for my interpretation. Now, beloved hearts, as I continue, I'll be here all night if I don't get on with this. I have said all along that the basic problem of the people of earth, there is not enough love, period. That's it. There's not enough love. And it's a wonderful thing, however, that in this last 100 years there have been beautiful awakened souls such as yourselves that have come down to the earth. And they have been building what we might call the love quota, incrementally, because it's the only way they could do it. Beautiful souls who've waited some time to come down to earth, build upon the love vibration, strengthening your light while you're doing that, so that others could come down and they too be an open door for other souls. Beautiful souls coming onto the earth and opening the way for beautiful families that would be loved and held together with such soul love. Peoples and families not offended by the tremendous pressure that comes from a world of such terrible suggestions, of such distortion and disintegration. Now, if you haven't sensed it yet, I'm trying to get you interested, more interested, in your physical heart. Because your heart has 9 chambers. These chambers are the secret passageway to the soul. And when the heart is closed, human beings have closed off the greatest love of all, soul love, divine love. And just as your higher mental body was intended to be a source of brilliant, dazzling, Christ-minded ideas, of such all-fathomless illumination, your soul was your source of divine love that you could channel and direct, that would become the substance out of which your perfect thoughts would become perfect things quickly. Did you notice I slowed down in the use of the word perfect? Oh, I know that human phrase, that naughty, naughty human phrase. How does it go? Oh, do you expect me to be perfect? Well, for those who live lives of duality, I suppose I understand the phrase, but it doesn't work for me. You have an incredible opportunity, beloved hearts. The Father Presence has made himself available as your individualized Christ mind. The Heavenly Mother has made herself available as your individualized soul. They individualized both for you so that you could draw upon that and become all that you gloriously could be. The destiny they chose for you was to become like them, that you would be gods of future universes and star systems, a great opportunity of infinite life. So, beloved, these 9 chambers of the physical heart, they are the passageway to your soul. The 5th chamber is the center of your heart. It's where abides your great heart flame, the love flame. It is the place that we also call the great love generator. The electron in the brain generates light. The electron in the heart generates love. The love that this love generates is the law of attraction, the force of magnetism, the substance called divine love. Now, through Mother Akasha's dispensation to the earth, and by divine intervention, for all those awakened now, 5th generator of your heart, the love generator, is open and active and ready for business. And you can begin, precious hearts, to enter into this great love generator. And you can begin by taking your right hand, palm over, and place it over your heart. Now take your left hand, open, and place it over your right hand, and there you can begin to command the following. From out of the great love generator of my heart, from out of the center of my heart, I call forth hundreds and thousands of rhythmic waves of divine love into my physical body, my mind, and feeling side of life. From out of the center of my heart, I call forth hundreds and thousands of rhythmic waves of divine love into my relationships, my home, all my activities, and all my outer life. You know, precious hearts, the love and the wisdom in your own hearts has often been ahead of you. Yeah, it's been ahead of you. So sometimes your heart gets ahead of you. Sometimes it starts racing. Sometimes it starts beating irregular heartbeats. Your heart's waiting for you. Remember the spiritual formula that I introduced years ago. Acknowledge, accept, and invoke. And let's get those hands of yours over your heart and say, I call forth hundreds. And now that phrase you want to remember, because this is exactly what it is. Hundreds of thousands of rhythmic waves of divine love. Rhythmic waves of divine love. Why do you do this? Because you got a love generator in your heart, and you are to be the director of it. So you can consciously begin generating love, the greatest love of all. And while you're doing that, you can put on Whitney Houston's song and be so inspired, the greatest love of all. And you can consciously begin generating love, the greatest love of all. Oh, not love that can be hurt, not love that can be compromised. Divine love. And what does divine love do? Oh, it does a lot. But one of the most important activities, threefold activities, it reveals, it nourishes, and it fulfills. Now, who's not in for that, right? And then as often as you can think about it, remember it during the day. It only takes a minute. Take a deep breath, hands over the heart. I call forth from the great love generator in my heart, from the fifth chamber of my heart, from my heart's flame. I call forth hundreds of thousands of rhythmic waves of divine love into my physical body, my mind, my feeling side of life. And let's just see, if you so choose to get a momentum of doing this several times a day, let's just see how you're feeling a few weeks from now. So this is the next biggest thing now, beloved hearts, for each of you. Those of you who are studying Mother Akasha's Tree of Life class, she is moving you along very, very quickly now, so that the Mother-Father presence within you can begin to reveal themselves in you and through you. Wow, wow, wow. So I say, this is the next biggest thing for each of you that I, Papa Asun, can offer you. Because once you really start generating light from your God presence, love from your heart, the next thing for you to practice is to practice having pure thoughts. And if you think a pure thought has anything to do with morality, think again. A pure thought is a matter of intention, which is not conflicted with other possible thoughts. It is a matter of intention in which you stop including in your thought other possible outcomes. Thinking is like making a cake. You know if you're going to bring fear, and if you have a pure thought, and you think a pure thought, and then you follow that thought with, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? Well, you mix that into your blend, and then you're going to have a blended outcome. You might say, I'm going to Egypt, I'm going to the Middle East, I'm going dancing tonight. Very simple, single, pure thoughts. Then you might say to yourself, oh, I'd love to go dancing tonight, but my city's infested with crime. I might get beaten up. I might get robbed. Well, you now have an impure thought. And then you might say, oh, I don't know. Oh, yeah, okay, I'll go. Now you've mixed all these extraneous thoughts into your thinking process. Please make sure your thinking is pure. Purity has nothing to do with morality in this situation. Be objective. Stop inducing other possible outcomes in your thought processes. If you're willing to entertain other outcomes, you blend those outcomes in with your thought, and which one of those outcomes actually happens depends on any moment where your will was moving more strongly into any of those other possible outcomes that you thought about. Now, your will in the past has most often been driven by fear. It really takes something to shift everything around, where joy, happiness, and inspiration is what your will is driving. But the human condition has come from the negative in the past. So here's the thing to remember. It's so easy to manifest what you fear. It's the easiest thing to do, because fear has such a momentum in this world. It's so easy. All you have to do is give it your attention long enough. It's the easiest thing to do to manifest what you fear, because it has such a terrible momentum as a quality that's lived more than any of the wonderful qualities of life. Of course, I do not wish you to do that. Cheers, beloved. Let's get beyond positive and pure in our thought processes. Teach yourself to have a single thought and not to add on, what if this, what if that, because then your thought is not pure anymore. And then you're not going to have a lovely outcome. So let us be pure in our thought processes so that the love we are now going to generate from our hearts has wonderful, pure thought forms to fulfill. Welcome, beloved hearts, to the new world, the new consciousness of divine mind, divine heart, divine soul, divine love, and divine will. If you wish me to speak further into this, you can give me a call at 1-000-000-000. I will remain at your service and wait for your call. Oh, wait a minute. Isn't that Santa Claus's number? Namaste, namaste, namaste.